Authorities are investigating after a suspicious package was delivered to the Maine Republican Party headquarters in Augusta yesterday.
The Maine GOP says an envelope was received in the mail around 1 p.m. with an unidentifiable white powder. The building on Higgins Street was evacuated, and people who were in the building were required to stay on site in quarantine until further evidence was uncovered regarding the substance.
The Augusta Emergency Services arrived to coordinate the investigation, as well as the National Guard Hazardous Material Team. At 4:45 yesterday afternoon, the Maine GOP says it was given an update that the office was cleaned and the substance is not believed to be harmful. However, they say more complete testing was taking place overnight. Augusta police are asking anyone with information about this incident to call them at 626-2370, extension 3418.
Maine GOP Chairman Jim Dyerman releasing a statement saying in part, quote, "These are crazy times, and we must continue to remain diligent for our own safety and others' safety. The rhetoric and violence needs to be toned down before more people get hurt. We are thankful no one was harmed."